Hey everyone, welcome back to the English Learning Podcast. I'm your host, Jason.
And I'm Julia, your co-host. Thanks so much for tuning in today. We're super excited about this episode because it's something that so many English learners struggle with.
That's right. Today's topic is stop thinking about grammar, speak more naturally. Sounds interesting, right?
Absolutely. Because let's be honest, how many times have you wanted to speak, but you stopped yourself just because you weren't sure if the grammar was right?
Exactly. You knew what you wanted to say, but then, boom, grammar thoughts pop into your head. Is this the right tense? Should I use the here? And then you just go silent.
Or you freeze, right? And the conversation moves on without you. It can be so frustrating, but here's the good news. You don't need perfect grammar to speak fluent and natural English.
Not at all. In fact, focusing too much on grammar can actually slow you down. And that's what we're going to explore today.
We'll talk about why overthinking grammar is a problem, how it affects your fluency, and most importantly, we'll give you real strategies to speak more naturally and confidently.
We'll even share some learner stories, practical tips, and do a little live demo later in the episode. It's going to be fun and super helpful.
So if you've ever felt nervous or stuck when speaking English, this episode is for you.
Grab your tea, coffee, or just get comfy. And let's dive. All right, so let's jump into the real problem here. Overthinking grammar. Julia, have you noticed how many learners are afraid to speak just because they think their grammar isn't perfect?
Oh, yes, all the time. I've met learners who actually know a lot of vocabulary and understand English well, but they freeze when it's time to speak. Why? Because they're constantly asking themselves, am I using the correct tense? What if I make a mistake?
Right. It's like their brain is running a grammar check every second while they're speaking. And that slows them down. Instead of focusing on the message, they're stuck in their heads.
Exactly. Imagine trying to drive a car while constantly checking the engine, the wheels, the oil. Every few seconds, you'll crash. Speaking English is the same. If you're too focused on the mechanics, you'll lose the flow.
That's a great example. And here's another thing. Native speakers don't always speak with perfect grammar either. You'll hear things like, I ain't got none, or he don't care. Not grammatically correct, but people understand it. Communication still happens.
Yes, and native speakers rarely stop in the middle of a conversation and think, should I use past perfect continuous or just past simple? They just speak naturally.
Now, we're not saying grammar isn't important. It's useful, of course. But when you're in a conversation, grammar should not be the first thing on your mind.
That's right. The first thing should be communication, getting your message across, making a connection with the other person. If your grammar isn't perfect, so what?
The truth is, overthinking grammar creates fear. And fear leads to silence. And silence leads to no practice. And no practice leads to no progress.
Boom, that's the real danger. You get stuck in a cycle of fear, but when you let go of that need to be perfect, everything starts to change.
Totally agree. And in the next part, we'll talk about why communication is more important than perfect grammar, and how focusing on connection can actually help you become fluent faster.
Don't go anywhere. We're just getting started.
All right, so we've talked about how overthinking grammar can really hold you back. But now, let's dig deeper. Julia, what's more important, grammar or communication?
Ooh, that's the big question, isn't it? I'd say without hesitation, communication is more important. What's the point of using perfect grammar if no one understands you, or if you're too afraid to speak at all?
Exactly. And let's be real. When people talk to you in daily life, at a shop, in a taxi, at work, They don't care if your sentence is grammatically perfect. They just want to understand you.
Right? Let's say someone says, "Yesterday I go to market." Now that's not grammatically correct, but do we understand it?
Yes, 100%. The meaning is clear. They went to the market yesterday. Communication happened, no confusion.
And here's the thing. Even native speakers make grammar mistakes when they speak. Because spoken English is not the same as written English. In casual conversation, people often break grammar rules, skip words, repeat themselves.
Yeah, like saying I was like, or he don't care. These aren't textbook English, but they're real English. The kind you hear in movies, on the street, with friends.
So, if native speakers can speak freely and make little mistakes, why are learners so afraid to do the same?
Great point. I think it's because learners are trained from the beginning to think that grammar is everything. They study rules, do exercises, take grammar tests.
Exactly, and unfortunately, they start to believe that if their grammar isn't perfect, they shouldn't speak. That's a terrible mindset. It's like thinking you shouldn't dance unless every move is perfect.
Yes! And the truth is, confidence and clarity are much more powerful than perfect grammar. Think of someone who speaks with energy, eye contact, gestures, even with small grammar errors. People love listening to them.
That's so true. And here's something important. When you focus on communicating your ideas, your grammar actually gets better over time, naturally.
Because you're using the language in real situations. You're learning by doing. It becomes a part of you, not just rules in your head.
So to all our listeners out there, please stop putting grammar first. Put your ideas, your thoughts, your voice first. Grammar will follow.
And don't wait until you feel ready. You'll never feel ready if you chase perfection. Speak now. Speak naturally. Speak confidently.
Coming up next, we'll share a few inspiring stories from learners who did just that. They stopped worrying about grammar and started growing fluently.
You don't want to miss it. Okay, Julia. Now I love this part. Real stories from real learners. Because hearing how others have faced the grammar trap and overcome it can be so inspiring.
Yes, I actually want to share a story about one of my students, Maria. She was always so worried about making grammar mistakes that she wouldn't speak in class. She'd get tongue-tied and just freeze.
That sounds familiar to a lot of learners.
Definitely. But one day, I told her, "Maria, forget grammar for a while. Just speak. Make mistakes if you want. The important thing is that you communicate." At first, she was nervous, but she tried it.
And what happened?
She started speaking more, at first with small mistakes. But with each conversation, she gained confidence. After a few months, she was volunteering to answer questions, even chatting with native speakers online.
Wow, that's a huge change.
Exactly. And here's the cool part. Her grammar improved naturally because she was using English all the time, not just studying rules.
That's so powerful. I have a story, too. There's this learner, Ahmed, who worked in a busy restaurant. He needed English to talk with customers, but was afraid to speak because he worried about grammar.
Yeah, that fear can stop you from practicing in real situations.
Right. So I told Ahmed to just focus on helping the customers, answer their questions, take orders, even if his sentences weren't perfect. And guess what? He started speaking more freely. Customers understood him perfectly, and he felt proud.
That's what matters. Communication over perfection.
Exactly. Ahmed even said later that once he stopped overthinking grammar, he actually enjoyed speaking English more.
That's a key point. Enjoyment. When you enjoy speaking, you practice more, and practice leads to progress.
So for our listeners, don't wait for perfect grammar to start speaking. Start with your ideas, your voice, and learn from every conversation.
Mistakes are part of the journey, not the end of it.
Up next, we'll talk about what's really going on in your brain when you overthink grammar and how you can change that. All right, Julia. Now let's talk about what's really happening in our brains when we try to speak English. Why do so many learners freeze or overthink grammar?
Great question, Jason. The answer is all about how our brain processes language. When you first start learning, your brain is like a beginner driver. Everything feels new and slow.
Right. And if you try to control every little detail, like grammar rules, your brain gets overwhelmed. It can't keep up with the speed of real conversation.
Exactly. This is called cognitive overload. When you're focusing too much on grammar, your brain spends all its energy on rules instead of actually communicating.
And when your brain is overloaded, it triggers stress and anxiety. That's why speaking feels scary and difficult.
Yes, but here's the good news. Speaking a language naturally is more about automatic habits than conscious rules.
Just like when you drive a car after years of practice, you don't think about every step. You just do it.
Right. Fluency happens when speaking becomes automatic. You don't translate or check grammar. You just say what you want to say.
So the key is to train your brain to think in English and speak without stopping to check grammar all the time.
And that's why practicing speaking regularly, without pressure, is so important. It helps your brain create those automatic pathways.
Exactly. It's like building a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger and faster it gets.
And when you let go of the fear of mistakes, you free your brain to focus on communication.
That's a huge step, because anxiety lowers your speaking ability, but confidence makes your English flow.
So, listeners, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Your brain needs those real conversations to get better.
Coming up next, we'll share some practical tips you can use right now to stop focusing on grammar and start speaking more naturally. All right, Julia, now that we understand the problem and the psychology behind it, let's get practical. What can our listeners do right now to stop overthinking grammar and start speaking naturally?
Great question, Jason. Here are some simple but powerful tips everyone can use.
Tip number 1. Think in chunks or phrases, not individual words or rules. Instead of building sentences word by word and worrying about grammar, try to learn common expressions or phrases that native speakers use.
Yes. For example, instead of thinking I will go to the store tomorrow, think going to the store tomorrow. It's simpler and you can use it naturally.
Tip number 2. Use simple English confidently. Don't try to use complicated grammar or big words just to sound perfect. Clear and simple is better than complicated and confusing.
Absolutely, people appreciate clear communication. It's okay to say, I want eat instead of I want to eat, especially when you're starting out. The important thing is that you're understood.
Tip number 3. Practice speaking without corrections at first. Find a safe space where you can speak freely. Maybe with a friend, a tutor, or even by recording yourself. Don't worry about mistakes. Just focus on fluency.
Yes, and actually, recording yourself is a great tip. You can listen back and notice your progress, not just your mistakes.
Tip number 4. Use listening and repeating exercises. Listen to short sentences or conversations, then try to repeat them exactly as you hear them. This helps your brain get used to natural rhythms and patterns of English.
Right, and it helps you speak without thinking about grammar because you're copying natural speech.
Tip number 5. Don't translate in your head. Try to think directly in English, even if it's simple thoughts. This will reduce that mental pause when you search for grammar or words.
And here's a bonus tip. Don't aim for perfection. Aim for communication. When you focus on getting your message across, your grammar will improve naturally over time.
Exactly. So to recap, think in phrases, keep it simple, practice freely, listen and repeat, think in English, and focus on communication.
If you practice these tips regularly, you'll find yourself speaking more naturally and with more confidence, much faster.
Next up, we'll do a live conversation demo to show the difference between focusing on grammar and focusing on communication. All right, Julia, now it's time for a live demo. Let's show our listeners the difference between speaking while overthinking grammar and speaking naturally.
Sounds fun? I'll go first. I'll try to speak while focusing too much on grammar.
Okay, let's hear it.
Yesterday, I went to the store and I bought some fruits. I was not sure if the apples were fresh, so I checked carefully.
Wow, I can hear you're really thinking a lot about grammar and word order. It sounds slow and a bit nervous.
Yes, exactly. I'm trying not to make mistakes, but it feels awkward and unnatural.
Now, let me try speaking naturally, without worrying about grammar too much. Yesterday, I went to the store and bought some fruits. I wasn't sure if the apples were fresh, so I checked them carefully.
That sounds much better. You're clear, confident, and fluent.
Thanks. The sentences aren't perfect, but that's okay. The message is clear, and it flows smoothly.
Right. And when you focus on communication, you speak with more energy and confidence.
Exactly. When you focus too much on grammar, you slow down and might even stop talking.
Listeners, try practicing this at home. Say the same sentence 2 ways, one careful and slow, and one natural and relaxed. Feel the difference.
This exercise helps train your brain to speak more freely and naturally.
And remember, it's okay to make mistakes. The goal is to keep the conversation moving.
That's the key. Speak to be understood, not to be perfect. Julia, now let's talk about something every learner worries about: making grammar mistakes. What should people do when they make a mistake while speaking?
Great question, Jason. First of all, don't panic. Making mistakes is completely normal, and actually, it's a very important part of learning.
Right. Mistakes don't mean you're a bad speaker or that you'll never improve. They're just signs that you're trying and learning.
Exactly. And sometimes when you make a mistake, you can even use it as an opportunity. For example, if the other person doesn't understand, you can try to explain in a different way.
Or if someone corrects you, don't feel embarrassed. Thank them and learn from it. But don't let the correction stop your conversation.
Yes, keep going. The key is to keep communicating and not to get stuck on one mistake.
Also, if you notice a mistake after speaking, it's okay to say, "Oh, and then correct yourself quickly.
That's a natural part of conversation, even for native speakers.
So, to all our listeners, embrace mistakes as part of your journey. The more you speak, the better you get.
Mistakes are stepping stones, not roadblocks.
Julia, now that we've covered the mindset and handling mistakes, let's talk about how our listeners can train themselves to speak naturally every day. What are some simple habits they can start?
Great topic, Jason. The first habit I always recommend is shadowing. That means listening to a native speaker and repeating what they say immediately, trying to copy their pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation.
Yeah, shadowing is powerful because it trains your brain and mouth to work together naturally.
Exactly. You can do this with podcasts, YouTube videos, or even movies. Just pick a short sentence or phrase and repeat it several times.
Another easy way is to talk to yourself in English. It might feel strange at first, but narrate your day or describe what you're doing. For example, "I'm cooking dinner," or "Now I'm reading a book."
Yes, it builds your confidence and makes speaking a habit, even if there's no one around to talk to.
Also, try to record your voice regularly. Listen to your recordings to notice improvements and catch words or sounds you want to work on.
And don't be afraid to use language apps or chatbots where you can practice real conversations without pressure.
Finally, the best tip is to speak with real people as often as you can, whether friends, tutors, or language exchange partners.
Because nothing beats real conversation for training natural speaking skills.
So, to sum up, shadow native speakers, talk to yourself, record your voice, use language tools, and speak with real people.
If you practice these every day, even for just a few minutes, your natural speaking will improve a lot faster.
Wow, Julia, what a great episode! Let's quickly recap the key points for our listeners.
Yes. First, remember that overthinking grammar holds you back. Speaking naturally is more about communication than perfection.
Exactly. We shared real stories to show that confidence comes when you stop worrying about grammar mistakes.
And we talked about how your brain works best when speaking becomes automatic, like a habit, not a test.
Plus, we gave some practical tips. Think in phrases, keep it simple, practice without fear, listen and repeat, and speak every day.
So if you want to speak English more naturally, start today. Don't wait for perfect grammar or the right moment.
That's right. Speak with confidence, make mistakes, learn from them, and keep going.
You've got this. Remember, every step you take is progress.
Thanks so much for listening to the English Learning Podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode.
See you next time and happy speaking.
Hello, and welcome back to the English Learning Podcast. I'm Jason, your host. And as always, I'm joined by my amazing co-host, Julia.
Hi, everyone. We're so excited to have you here today. And trust me, this episode is going to be a game changer for anyone who feels nervous about speaking English.
That's right. Today, we're talking about something that holds so many learners back: fear. The fear of making mistakes, the fear of being judged, and the fear of not sounding perfect. If you've ever felt that way, you're not alone.
Exactly. But here's the good news: you can break that fear, and you can start speaking with confidence. And in this episode, we're going to show you how to do that.
And here's a quick question for you, our listeners. Have you ever wanted to say something in English but held back because you were too nervous? If that's you, stay tuned, because by the end of this episode, you'll have the tools to overcome that fear and start speaking.
Yes, and remember, learning English is a journey. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. So, are you ready to break the fear and start speaking?
Let's do this! All right, now that we've set the stage, let's dive into the real question. Why do people fear speaking English?
Good question. And honestly, Jason, fear is one of the biggest reasons why learners struggle to improve their speaking skills. They know English, they understand it, but when it's time to speak, they just freeze.
Exactly. And there are a few common reasons behind this. Let's break them down. First, probably the biggest one, fear of making mistakes.
Oh yes, so many learners worry about saying something wrong. They think, what if I use the wrong word? What if my grammar isn't perfect? What if people laugh at me? And this fear stops them from even trying.
But here's the thing, mistakes are normal. Even native speakers make mistakes all the time. Have you ever noticed native speakers correcting themselves while talking?
Yes, all the time. And you know what? No one cares. When you're having a conversation, the goal is communication, not perfection.
Absolutely. And that brings us to the second big reason: fear of being judged. A lot of learners feel shy or embarrassed because they think people will criticize their accent or their way of speaking.
Yes, and this is totally understandable. No one likes feeling embarrassed. But think about this. Most people are actually impressed when someone speaks another language. They're not judging, they're encouraging.
That's so true. People respect the effort. And even if someone corrects you, they're probably just trying to help, not make fun of you.
Exactly. Now, here's another reason people are afraid to speak: fear of forgetting words or getting stuck.
Oh, this is a big one. Many learners feel nervous because they think, what if I forget a word in the middle of my sentence? Then they panic and stop speaking.
But guess what? This happens to everyone. Even native speakers forget words sometimes. The key is to stay calm, find another way to say what you mean, or just pause and continue. It's totally fine.
Yes, and one more reason: fear of not sounding like a native speaker. Some learners hesitate to speak because they think their accent isn't perfect. But let me tell you, there's no such thing as a perfect accent.
Exactly. There are so many English accents around the world. What really matters is clarity, not sounding exactly like a native speaker.
So, to summarize, most people fear speaking English because they worry about making mistakes, being judged, forgetting words, or not sounding perfect. But all of these fears can be overcome.
And in the next section, we'll talk about how fear actually stops your progress and why overcoming it is so important. So stay with us.
Now that we understand why people fear speaking English, let's talk about how this fear actually stops your progress.
Yes, because fear isn't just an emotion, it's something that holds you back from improving. If you let fear control you, you'll never reach your full potential in English.
That's right. Let's start with the first way fear stops your progress. It makes you avoid speaking altogether.
Oh, this is so common. When people are afraid, they choose to stay quiet instead of practicing. They think, I'll just listen and wait until I feel more confident. But guess what? Confidence doesn't come from waiting. It comes from doing.
Exactly. The longer you wait, the harder it gets. Speaking is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. But if you don't use it, it weakens.
That's a great way to put it. And another thing, fear makes people overthink their words. Instead of speaking naturally, they hesitate, trying to make every sentence perfect before they say it.
Oh, yes. And that hesitation can make conversations feel unnatural. Instead of focusing on communicating, you're stuck in your head, worrying about mistakes.
Exactly. And here's the next way fear stops. Progressist lowers your confidence. The more you avoid speaking, the more you believe I'm not good at English. And that negative mindset becomes a cycle.
Yes, it's like this. You don't speak because you're afraid. And then, because you don't speak, you feel like you're bad at English. And that just makes you more afraid. It's a trap.
And the worst part? Fear stops you from enjoying the process of learning. Instead of feeling excited about improving, you feel stressed. And when you're stressed, learning becomes harder.
That's so true. Studies show that when we're anxious, our brains don't absorb information as well. So fear isn't just stopping you from speaking, it's actually making it harder for you to learn English at all.
Exactly. So if you've been avoiding speaking because of fear, remember, your fear is actually slowing down your progress. But the good news is, you can break this cycle.
Yes, and that's what we'll talk about next. We're going to share real, practical steps to help you overcome your fear and start speaking with confidence. All right, now that we know how fear stops your progress, let's get into the most important part: how to overcome that fear and start speaking English with confidence.
Yes! And if you're listening right now and you've struggled with fear, don't worry. These steps are simple, practical, and anyone can use them to feel more comfortable speaking.
Exactly. Let's start with the first step: change your mindset about mistakes.
This is so important. Instead of thinking, mistakes are bad, start thinking, mistakes help me learn. Every time you make a mistake, you're improving, No one speaks perfectly all the time.
Absolutely. Mistakes mean you're trying, and trying is the only way to get better. So instead of feeling embarrassed, feel proud that you're learning.
That's right. Now, step 2, speak even if you feel afraid.
This might sound simple, but it's powerful. You don't have to wait until you feel ready. The best way to become confident is to start speaking, even if it's just a little bit every day.
Exactly. And start small if you need to. Talk to yourself in English, practice in front of a mirror, or record yourself speaking. The more you do it, the less scary it feels.
Great point. Now, step 3, focus on communication, not perfection.
Oh, this one is huge. So many learners worry about grammar, pronunciation, and sounding perfect. But remember, the goal of speaking is to communicate. If people understand you, that's all that matters.
Yes, think about it. When a tourist visits your country and speaks your language, do you care if they make mistakes? No, you're just happy they're trying.
Exactly. People will appreciate your effort. Now, step 4, find a safe place to practice.
This is a game changer. Find someone you feel comfortable speaking with. A friend, a tutor, or even an online speaking group. The more you practice in a supportive environment, the more confident you'll feel.
Yes, and if you don't have a speaking partner, try apps, language exchange websites, or even talking to yourself out loud. The key is to use the language regularly.
Great tip! Now, step 5, train your brain to think in English.
Oh, I love this one. Instead of translating from your native language, start thinking directly in English. Describe what you see around you. Plan your day in English. Small things like this make a big difference.
Absolutely. Thinking in English helps you respond faster in conversations and feel more natural when speaking.
And finally, step 6, have fun with English.
Yes, make English part of your daily life in an enjoyable way. Watch movies, listen to music, join online discussions. When you have fun, learning becomes easier.
Exactly. And remember, speaking English is a journey, not a test. Every time you practice, you're one step closer to confidence.
Well said, Julia. So, to summarize, accept mistakes, start speaking even if you're afraid, focus on communication, find a safe place to practice, think in English, and most importantly, have fun.
Yes. And coming up next, we'll share some easy and fun speaking exercises to help you break the fear and start speaking today.
Now that we've covered the mindset shifts and steps to overcome fear, let's talk about practical exercises that can help you reduce fear and start speaking with confidence today.
Yes, these exercises are designed to ease you into speaking and help you build confidence step by step. You don't have to be perfect right away, just focus on practicing.
Exactly. The first exercise is called the mirror practice. This is a great way to start speaking if you don't have a partner.
Here's how it works. Stand in front of a mirror and talk to yourself in English. You can describe what you see around you, tell yourself about your day, or even practice a simple conversation.
This exercise helps you feel more comfortable hearing your own voice in English. It also lets you focus on your facial expressions and body language, which are important in communication.
Exactly. And once you get comfortable with this, try adding more complex sentences or even recording yourself to hear how you sound. It's a great way to track your progress.
Next, we have the shadowing technique. This is a fantastic exercise if you want to improve your speaking skills and reduce fear.
Here's how it works. Find a video or audio clip in English, maybe a podcast or a YouTube video, and repeat what the speaker says as closely as possible right after them. You're essentially shadowing their speech.
This is great because it helps you get used to the rhythm, pronunciation, and intonation of English. And don't worry about getting it perfect at first. Just focus on mimicking the sounds and flow of the language.
And the more you do this, the more natural your speech will become. You'll feel more confident when speaking because you'll be used to hearing and producing the correct sounds.
Now, let's talk about a fun exercise called Speak in Sentences. This is especially helpful if you're nervous about speaking, but want to ease into it.
To start, pick a simple sentence or phrase you want to say. For example, I love reading books. Say that sentence aloud 10 times. Focus on saying it clearly and with confidence.
Once you feel comfortable, move on to more complex sentences. You can even change the sentence slightly, or use different topics, like I love traveling to new places, or I enjoy learning English every day.
This helps reduce the fear of making mistakes because you're only focusing on one sentence at a time. It also builds your confidence as you practice the same sentence repeatedly until it feels natural.
Another great exercise is the word association game. This one is perfect for improving your fluency and reducing the fear of being stuck while speaking.
Here's how it works. Start with a random word. Let's say apple. Then quickly say another word that comes to your mind, like fruit. Then another word like banana, and so on.
This game helps train your brain to think faster in English. You're practicing the ability to make quick connections, which is essential for fluent conversation.
And remember, don't worry if you make mistakes or pause for a second. The goal is to keep practicing without stopping for too long.
And our final exercise today is Speak with a Language Buddy. This is one of the most effective ways to reduce fear.
Find a language partner, whether it's a friend, a tutor, or someone online. Set a time to talk in English and focus on having a casual conversation. It doesn't need to be perfect. It's about practicing together.
Speaking with someone else helps reduce the pressure because it's a two-way conversation. You'll feel more comfortable and less nervous about making mistakes.
And the more you speak with someone, the more your fear will naturally go away. You'll begin to trust yourself more and become a more confident English speaker.
So, to recap, these practical exercises are mirror practice, shadowing technique, speak in sentences, word association game, and speaking with a language buddy. Each of these exercises will help you overcome fear and build the confidence you need to speak English more freely.
Exactly. And remember, these exercises don't require you to be perfect. The goal is to practice, make mistakes, and improve over time. The more you speak, the easier it becomes.
That's right, Julia. So start practicing today, and remember there's no such thing as perfect English. Only progress. All right. We've talked a lot about how to overcome the fear of speaking English, but sometimes it's inspiring to hear real stories of people who've been in your shoes and have successfully broken through that fear.
Absolutely. Hearing success stories can really motivate you to keep going. So, let me share a story about a student named Maria. When she first started learning English, she was terrified of speaking. Every time she tried to talk, she would freeze up and feel embarrassed.
That's a familiar feeling for many learners. But what made Maria different is that she didn't let fear stop her. She practiced speaking every day, even when she was scared. At first, she practiced alone in front of the mirror, just like we talked about earlier. Then, she started recording herself speaking.
And over time, Maria felt more comfortable. She even started speaking with her language partner regularly, despite feeling nervous at first. Slowly, her confidence grew, and today she speaks English fluently without that constant fear holding her back.
That's amazing! Maria's story shows that progress isn't always immediate. But if you stick with it and keep practicing, you can conquer that fear.
Exactly. And here's another success story about Ahmed. He came from a non-English speaking country, and his biggest fear was speaking to native speakers. He felt that his accent or mistakes would make him look foolish.
But what Ahmed did was start focusing on communication over perfection. He would make small talk with his friends in English every day, even if it was just about the weather or what he had for lunch. It was simple, but consistent.
And slowly but surely, Ahmed's fear started to fade. He stopped worrying about making mistakes and focused on connecting with others. Now he regularly participates in English conversations without the fear he once had.
These stories prove that overcoming fear is possible with practice and persistence. You don't have to be perfect, you just need to keep going and trust the process.
So remember, just like Maria and Ahmed, you can break through your fear and become a confident English speaker. Keep practicing, stay motivated, and celebrate every small victory along the way.
Wow, what an amazing discussion today. We've talked about breaking the fear of speaking English, how to overcome it with practical steps, and even shared some success stories to show you that it's possible.
Exactly. And now it's time for you to take action. Don't wait for the perfect moment to start speaking. Begin now, just like Maria, Ahmed, and so many other learners who've overcome their fears.
So here's your call to action. Pick one of the exercises we talked about today, whether it's talking to yourself in the mirror, recording your voice, or shadowing a video. Do it every day, even if it's just for 5 minutes.
Remember, the key is consistency. Don't worry about making mistakes. Focus on speaking regularly and having fun with it. Each step you take brings you closer to becoming a more confident English speaker.
And if you ever feel discouraged, just remember that you're not alone. There's a whole community of learners just like you, and every day is an opportunity to improve and grow.
Exactly. So, get started today. Break the fear and start speaking. You have everything it takes to succeed.
And before we wrap up, don't forget to hit that like button if you found this podcast helpful, and subscribe to our channel for more tips and motivation to improve your English.
Also, feel free to share your progress or any questions you have in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you.
Thanks so much for listening, and remember, the best way to learn is to speak. See you next time on the English Learning Podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the English Learning Podcast, where we help you improve your English through real conversations and fun topics. I'm your host, Jason.
And I'm Julia, your co-host. We're so excited you're here with us today. We've got a really interesting and maybe even a little controversial topic to talk about.
Oh, yes. Today's question is, one many learners are asking now, who teaches English better, ChatGPT or a real human teacher?
It sounds like a big question, right? With AI like ChatGPT becoming more popular, many English learners are using it every day. But is it better than a real teacher, or can it replace a teacher?
Or maybe it's not about better. Maybe they're just different. In this episode, we'll compare both how a human teacher teaches, how ChatGPT teaches, and what's best for you, the learner.
We'll even do a fun role play later to show you the difference between learning with ChatGPT and learning with a real teacher.
So if you've ever wondered whether you should stick with classes, try learning with AI, or maybe use both, this episode is for you.
And don't worry, we'll keep it simple, clear, and full of practical tips. So grab a notebook or just relax and listen.
Let's jump in and explore what makes a great English teacher human or AI. So, Julia, before we compare ChatGPT and AI tools, let's talk about human teachers first. In your opinion, what makes a great English teacher?
Great question, Jason. I think a great English teacher is not just someone who knows grammar rules. It's someone who can explain things clearly, correct you gently, and really connect with the student.
Absolutely. I've had teachers who made me feel excited to learn, not afraid to make mistakes. That emotional support, that encouragement, it makes a huge difference.
Right. And great teachers often understand their students' needs. For example, If a student is shy, they might ask more yes/no questions to make the student comfortable.
Yeah, or they might use games or role play to make the class more fun and interactive.
Also, great teachers are flexible. If you don't understand something, they try a different way. Maybe they draw, act it out, or give simple examples. That kind of creativity is powerful.
And don't forget real-time feedback. A teacher can immediately correct your pronunciation, your sentence structure, or even give you a cultural tip like, hey, in real life, people say it this way.
Exactly. And many teachers bring real-world experience. Maybe they lived in an English-speaking country, or they know common slang, idioms, or how people really talk in daily life.
So it's not just about the textbook. It's about experience, emotion, encouragement, and human connection.
Well said. A good teacher makes you feel confident. A great teacher makes you feel like you can do anything, even if English seems hard at first.
So now that we've painted a good picture of what human teachers can offer, let's take a look at how ChatGPT teaches English. Is it the same? Is it better? Or just different?
Let's find out.
All right, so we've talked about what makes a great human teacher. Now, let's talk about the other side. ChatGPT. Julia, how would you explain what ChatGPT is to someone who has never used it?
Good question. ChatGPT is an AI chatbot. It's like a smart robot you can chat with by typing. You ask it questions, and it gives you answers in natural English. Many people use it to learn grammar, improve vocabulary, or even practice conversations.
Right, and it's available 24/7. You don't need to book a lesson or wait for class. You just open the app or website and start chatting like texting a very smart English buddy.
Exactly. You can ask it things like, "What's the difference between say and tell? Can you correct my sentence? Can you help me write an email in English?" And ChatGPT will answer in seconds.
What's cool is that it can adjust to your level. If you say, I'm a beginner, it will use simpler words. If you're more advanced, it gives more detail.
Also, it's super patient. You can ask the same question 5 times and it won't get annoyed.
Haha, yes. And for people who feel nervous speaking to real teachers, ChatGPT feels safe. There's no pressure. You can make mistakes, and no one's judging you.
Plus, it gives examples. If you say, "Can you give me 5 sentences using present perfect?" it will give them immediately and even explain why.
And one more thing, it's not just about grammar. You can have full conversations. You can say, let's talk about food, or pretend you're a waiter and it plays along. That's great speaking practice.
So true. It's like having your own personal English assistant in your pocket.
But is it the same as learning with a real teacher? Can it feel human enough? That's what we're going to explore next. And we've prepared a fun little role play to compare the two.
Yes, let's show our listeners how learning looks with a teacher and with ChatGPT. This will be fun.
All right, Julia, it's time for a little fun. We're going to do a short role play to show what it's like to learn English with a human teacher. And then with ChatGPT.
Yes, so I'll play the English learner named Ali, and you'll be the teacher in the first scene. Then in the second scene, I'll talk to ChatGPT. Ready?
Let's do it! Scene 1. Ali with a human English teacher.
Hi, teacher. I want to ask, what is the difference between say and tell? I always get confused.
Great question, Ali. Both say and tell are used to report speech, but they work a bit differently. We usually use say without a person. She said she was tired. And we use tell when we say who we are talking to. She told me she was tired.
Oh, so say is more general and tell is more direct to a person?
Exactly. Would you like to try making a few sentences?
Okay, he said he loves pizza, and she told me to come early.
Perfect. You got it. Keep practicing with different subjects, and soon it will feel natural.
Thank you, teacher. That really helped.
Nice! That was the Human Teacher Experience clear explanation, examples, and encouragement.
Now let's switch to ChatGPT. Same question, but now Allie is chatting with ChatGPT. I'll be both characters here. Scene 2. Allie talking to ChatGPT. Hi, ChatGPT. What's the difference between say and tell? Hi! Great question. Say is used when you don't mention who you are speaking to. She said she was hungry. Tell is used when you say who you are speaking to. She told me she was hungry. Let me know if you want more examples or practice. Can you give me 5 examples of each? Sure. Examples of say, he said he was late. They said it was a great movie. I said I would help. She said she liked music. John said he was tired. Examples of tell, he told me the story. I told her the truth. She told us to wait. They told me a secret. You told him everything. Would you like to make your own sentences? Yes, here's one. He said he was tired, and she told me to call her. Well done! Both sentences are correct. Keep practicing and feel free to ask me anything anytime.
Wow! That was a really good comparison. Both gave helpful answers, right?
Yes, but the feeling is different. The human teacher gives emotion, tone, and can see your confusion. ChatGPT gives quick, clear info and tons of examples.
So both are useful, depending on what you need: speed and examples, or human connection and live feedback.
Exactly, and now let's go deeper into what ChatGPT does really well. Ready?
Let's go. So Julia, after that fun role play, I think it's clear ChatGPT has some pretty cool strengths. Let's talk about the advantages of learning English with ChatGPT.
Yes. First of all, ChatGPT is always available. You don't need to wait for class or schedule a lesson. You can practice English anytime, even in the middle of the night.
That's so true. Some learners live in places where good English teachers are hard to find. But ChatGPT is right there on your phone or laptop, ready to help you 24/7.
Another big advantage, no fear of judgment. Some learners feel shy or nervous when speaking in front of a teacher or classmates. But with ChatGPT, there's no pressure. You can ask questions again and again without feeling embarrassed.
Exactly. You can say, "Explain this grammar rule again," or "Can you make it even simpler?" And ChatGPT never gets tired or annoyed.
Also, it's great for getting quick examples. You can ask, give me 10 sentences using past tense. Can you write a short dialogue about ordering food? And it gives you answers instantly.
And let's not forget personalization. You can say, "I'm a beginner," or "I want to learn British English," or "I want to practice business English," and it adapts to you.
It's like a flexible English tutor that listens to your learning style. You can also ask it to quiz you, explain idioms, translate words, or even correct your writing.
And here's something people love: it's free or very low cost. Private English lessons can be expensive, but ChatGPT gives you high-quality help without the big price tag.
Totally. So if you're learning on a budget or just starting out, ChatGPT can be a great way to build your skills quickly.
But as helpful as ChatGPT is, it also has some limits. That's where human teachers still shine.
Yes, and we'll talk about that next, the real benefits of learning with a human teacher.
Stick around. So, Julia, we just talked about how ChatGPT is flexible, fast, and always available. But now let's turn the spotlight back to human teachers. What are the advantages of learning with a real person?
Well, one of the biggest ones is human connection. A teacher can look at your face, hear your voice, and understand when you're confused even if you don't say it.
Yes, that emotional connection is powerful. A good teacher can encourage you when you're frustrated or cheer you on when you succeed. It feels personal.
And human teachers can adapt in real time. Let's say you don't understand a word, a teacher might draw it, act it out, or give a real-life example to help you understand it better.
Right? Plus, they can correct your pronunciation live. With ChatGPT, it's all text. But a teacher can hear your accent and help you say words more clearly. That's a big deal.
Also, human teachers often bring cultural knowledge. They can teach you things like tone, body language, or what's polite or rude in different English-speaking countries.
Good point. Sometimes language isn't just about grammar, it's about how and when to use certain words, especially in social situations. That's where teachers really help.
Another great thing, motivation and accountability. A teacher checks your homework, gives you goals, and keeps you on track. You feel responsible, which pushes you to try harder.
Exactly. Some learners say, if I'm studying alone, I give up easily. But if I know my teacher is waiting, I don't skip.
And teachers also create interactive activities, role plays, games, group discussions. These are hard to experience with AI.
Plus, teachers can see your progress over time. They remember your mistakes and help you grow step by step.
So, even though AI is fast and convenient, the human touch still matters, especially when you want deep understanding, emotional support, and personalized feedback.
Couldn't agree more. But now the big question is, do we have to choose just one?
Let's talk about that next. Maybe there's a way to use both and get the best of both worlds.
So far, we've seen the strengths of both ChatGPT and human teachers. But Julia, let's clear up a few myths, because there's a lot of confusion out there.
Yes, so true. Let's start with myth 1. ChatGPT can replace teachers completely. No, not really. ChatGPT is powerful, but it can't do everything a teacher can, like read emotions, guide your motivation, or help with speaking in real time.
Exactly. And here's myth 2. If I have a teacher, I don't need AI tools. Actually, AI and teachers can work together. Many great learners use both. ChatGPT can help with quick questions, while your teacher helps with depth, feedback, and practice.
Myth 3. ChatGPT always gives perfect answers. Nope. Sometimes it can make small mistakes or give answers that don't fit your level or your question. That's why you still need to think critically and, if possible, ask your teacher to confirm.
Great point. And finally, myth 4. Only real teachers can help with speaking practice. Actually, ChatGPT can help you create role plays, practice dialogues, and even give feedback on writing. But yes, for pronunciation and real-life speaking, teachers are still the best.
So don't believe the hype or the fear. ChatGPT is not your enemy. It's just another tool, and how you use it makes all the difference.
Well said. And coming up next, we'll talk about how learners can actually combine both ChatGPT and teachers for the best learning experience. So now that we've talked about the strengths of both ChatGPT and human teachers, the big question is, can they work together?
I say absolutely, yes. In fact, combining them might be the smartest way to learn English today.
Let's break it down. Imagine you go to an English class twice a week. That's great for real interaction, feedback, and guidance. But in between classes, you want to practice more, right?
Exactly. That's where ChatGPT comes in. You can use it to review vocabulary, ask grammar questions, or practice short conversations anytime you want, even at night or during lunch breaks.
It's like having a study buddy in your pocket. And the best part? It's always ready to help, no appointments needed.
And teachers can even recommend how students use ChatGPT. For example, use ChatGPT to practice writing your diary every day. Use it to learn new idioms or role play before your next class. It becomes a learning assistant, not a replacement.
That's such a great way to think about it, as a tool that supports your learning journey.
Yes, and for people who don't have access to a teacher, ChatGPT can help them start learning on their own, and maybe later they'll join a class or get a tutor too.
So in short, it's not about choosing one over the other. It's about using both wisely human guidance plus smart technology.
That's the future of learning flexible, personal, and powerful.
Coming up next, we'll give some simple tips on how you, the listener, can create your own learning routine using both. Shall we continue to the next part? All right, so if you're listening and thinking, okay, I want to use both ChatGPT and a teacher, but how do I actually do that? Don't worry, we've got some easy tips for you.
Tip number 1, use ChatGPT for daily practice. Even just 10 to 15 minutes a day can help. You can ask ChatGPT to quiz you on vocabulary practice, writing short paragraphs, do grammar exercises, or have a simple conversation like, "Let's talk about travel."
Tip number 2, prepare for your teacher lessons with ChatGPT. Before your next class, you can warm up by reviewing grammar points, writing a few questions, or practicing a topic like ordering food in a restaurant.
Yes, that makes your class more productive because you come in with some ideas and confidence.
Tip number 3, after class, use ChatGPT to review. If your teacher gave you feedback or new phrases, you can ask ChatGPT to help you practice them again in different sentences or situations.
Tip number 4, build your own learning routine. For example, Monday, 30 minutes with ChatGPT, grammar plus conversation. Tuesday, English class with a teacher. Wednesday, vocabulary quiz with ChatGPT. Thursday, write a short story and ask ChatGPT to check it. Friday, class again or speaking practice with a friend.
The key is balance. Let your teacher guide the path, and let ChatGPT support you every step of the way.
You'll move faster, feel more confident, and enjoy learning more.
Coming up next, it's time to answer the big question: who wins the battle? ChatGPT or teacher? All right, Julia, after everything we've talked about today, what do you think who wins the battle? ChatGPT or a human teacher?
You know, Jason, honestly, I don't think there's a clear winner. Both have unique strengths, and the best choice really depends on the learner's needs and situation.
Exactly. If someone needs emotional support, motivation, and live feedback, a human teacher is unbeatable.
But if you want quick answers, constant availability, and extra practice, anytime ChatGPT is amazing.
Plus, for learners on a budget or in remote places, ChatGPT opens doors that might otherwise stay closed.
The smartest learners will use both. They'll get the personal touch from teachers and the endless practice from AI.
At the end of the day, the best teacher is the one who helps you keep learning and feeling confident.
That's right. So don't stress about choosing sides. Focus on what works for your style and your goals.
Thanks for listening to our English Learning Podcast. We hope this episode helped you understand the strengths of ChatGPT and teachers.
Don't forget to try both, experiment, and enjoy your English learning journey.
Thanks for joining us today on the English Learning Podcast. We hope you enjoyed our deep dive into ChatGPT versus human teachers.
We'd love to hear from you. What do you think? Do you prefer learning with a teacher, ChatGPT, or maybe a mix of both? Share your thoughts in the comments or send us a message.
And if you found this episode helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and share it with your friends who are learning English too.
Remember, the most important thing is to keep practicing every day, no matter which method you choose.
We'll be back soon with more fun and useful English learning tips. Until then, keep speaking, keep learning, and stay confident.
Bye for now, and thanks again for listening.
See you next time. Hello and welcome back to the English Learning Podcast, where we help you improve your English skills in a fun and practical way. I'm Jason, and today we have a very exciting topic: fast English speaking tricks you need.
And I'm Julia. If you've ever felt frustrated because you speak English too slowly or you struggle to find the right words quickly, then this episode is for you. Today we'll be sharing practical tips and techniques that can help you speak English faster and more naturally.
That's right. Many English learners hesitate when speaking because they are afraid of making mistakes, or they think too much about grammar. But the truth is, fluency is not about speaking perfectly. It's about speaking naturally and confidently.
Exactly. Think about native speakers. They don't stop to think about grammar in every sentence. They just speak effortlessly. And guess what? You can do it too. All you need are the right strategies to speed up your speech without losing clarity.
And that's what we're here to help you with today. In this episode, we'll go through powerful tricks that will help you stop overthinking, reduce hesitation, and train your brain to speak English faster.
So stay with us till the end because we have some amazing tips that will make a real difference in your English speaking skills.
All right, let's dive into it. First, let's talk about why speaking English fast is important and how it can help you in real-life situations. So, before we get into the tricks, let's first talk about why speaking English fast is important. Julia, have you ever been in a situation where speaking too slowly caused a problem?
Oh, yes, I remember when I was a beginner in English, I would take too long to form my sentences, and by the time I was ready to speak, the conversation had already moved on. It was so frustrating.
Exactly. And that's something many English learners experience. If you take too long to respond, people might lose patience, or the conversation might move forward before you can share your thoughts.
Yes, and in real-life situations, like at work, in meetings, or even casual conversations, you need to keep up with the pace of native speakers. If you speak too slowly, people might interrupt you, or worse, they might think you don't understand them.
That's a great point. And let's not forget interviews or public speaking situations. If you pause too much or hesitate a lot, you might sound nervous or unsure, even if you actually know what to say.
Right. Confidence plays a huge role in how people perceive you. If you speak smoothly and quickly, you sound more fluent, more confident, and more natural.
Exactly. And when you speak English fast, it also helps with better listening skills because your brain gets used to processing English at a faster speed.
That's so true. If you train yourself to speak faster, your listening comprehension improves because your brain adapts to the speed of native speakers.
Absolutely. But here's an important point. Speaking fast does not mean rushing your words or speaking unclearly.
Yes, there's a big difference between speaking fast and speaking unclearly. Our goal is to increase fluency and reduce hesitation, not to mumble or rush through words.
Well said. So, now that we know why speaking fast is important, let's start learning some powerful tricks to help you speed up your English speaking naturally.
Great, let's begin with the first trick, thinking in English.
All right, let's get into our first powerful trick, thinking in English. Now, Julia, why do so many English learners struggle with speaking fast?
Well, one big reason is that they think in their native language first and then translate into English before speaking. That takes extra time and slows them down.
Exactly. When you translate in your head, your brain has to process two languages at once. First, your native language, then English. This causes hesitation and makes your speech slower.
That's why the best way to speed up your English speaking is to train your brain to think directly in English instead of translating.
Yes, and the good news is you don't have to be fluent to start thinking in English. Anyone can do it with the right practice.
So, Jason, what's a simple way to start thinking in English?
One great way is describing what's around you in English. For example, if you're walking outside, try naming the things you see. I see a red car. The sky is blue. The weather is warm today.
That's a fantastic tip. And you can do this anytime, anywhere, while cooking, while shopping, or even while getting dressed in the morning. Just describe what you see in simple English.
Yes! Another great exercise is having silent conversations with yourself in English.
Oh, I love this one. You just imagine you're talking to someone in English and think about what you'd say. For example, if you're preparing for a meeting, you can think, I need to tell my boss about the project. How should I say it? Maybe I can start with, I have an update on our project.
Exactly! This trains your brain to form sentences faster and more naturally.
And here's another fun way: change your phone language to English.
Oh, that's a great one! When your phone, apps, and social media are in English, your brain automatically gets used to English words and phrases.
Yes. Plus, reading in English, whether it's social media, news, or books, helps you absorb new words and think in English without effort.
These are simple but powerful ways to start training your brain to think in English. And once you do, you'll notice that you can speak faster and more naturally.
That's right. So if you're listening to this, try these techniques today. Start small, and soon thinking in English will become a habit.
Now that we know how to think in English, let's move to our next trick, using common phrases and sentence starters to speak faster. Now that we've talked about thinking in English, let's move to another powerful trick that can help you speak faster instantly using common phrases and sentence starters.
That's right. Many English learners hesitate because they're always trying to build a sentence from scratch in their heads. But native speakers don't do that. Instead, they use ready-made phrases that help them speak quickly and smoothly.
Exactly. Think about when someone asks you, "How are you?" You don't stop to think about grammar, right? You just automatically say, "I'm fine, thanks."
Yes, that's because it's a common phrase you don't have to think. You just say it. So if you learn more of these ready-made phrases, you won't hesitate when speaking.
That's a great point. And these are especially useful for starting sentences quickly. Here are some common sentence starters that can help you speak fast. Giving your opinion. I think that, in my opinion, from my point of view, agreeing or disagreeing, I totally agree with you. That's a good point, but I see what you mean. But I think, asking for time to think well. Let me think. That's an interesting question. I haven't thought about it before, but
These are so helpful. Instead of staying silent and searching for words, you can use these sentence starters to keep the conversation flowing.
exactly. And here's another tip. Learn useful phrases for daily conversations.
Yes, for example, if you're at a restaurant, instead of thinking, what word should I use to order food, just memorize a simple phrase like, can I have a coffee, please?
Right. If you learn these common phrases, your brain doesn't have to work so hard to create sentences. You just recall and use them instantly.
And you can practice by repeating them every day. Maybe write down some useful sentence starters and say them out loud.
That's a great idea. The more you practice using common phrases, the faster you'll speak without hesitation.
Absolutely. So to everyone listening, start using these sentence starters today. It's an easy way to improve your fluency fast.
All right. Now that we know how to use common phrases to speed up speaking, let's move to the next trick, shadowing the best exercise to speak faster. All right, Julia, now, let's talk about something that slows down many English learners when they speak. Hesitation and filler words.
Yes. Many learners struggle with saying, and like when they talk. These are called filler words, and they make speech sound slow and unconfident.
That's right. When people hesitate too much, they break their flow. And the reason they hesitate is simple. They're not sure what to say next.
Exactly. So, Jason, what's the best way to reduce hesitation and fillers?
One of the best ways is pausing instead of using fillers. When you need time to think, take a short pause instead of saying oh or
That's a great trick. A small pause actually makes you sound more confident. Native speakers do this all the time. Instead of saying, I think it's a good idea, just say, I think it's a good idea.
Yes. Another way to reduce hesitation is practicing with time limits.
Oh, I love this exercise. You pick a simple topic, like your favorite food or your daily routine, and try speaking about it for 1 minute without stopping.
Exactly. This helps you train your brain to speak without hesitating. And if you do this daily, you'll notice that you speak faster and more naturally.
Here's another fun trick. Record yourself speaking and listen back.
Oh, that's a powerful one. When you listen to yourself, you'll notice where you hesitate the most. Then, you can practice those areas until your speech becomes smoother.
Yes, and another way to speak without hesitation is preparing common answers in advance.
That's a smart idea. If you know you'll be asked, "What do you do?" or "Where are you from?" just prepare a quick answer in advance so you can respond without thinking.
Exactly. The more you prepare, the less you hesitate in real conversations.
So, let's recap. To reduce hesitation and fillers, pause instead of saying or uh. Practice speaking for 1 minute without stopping. Record yourself and listen for hesitation. Prepare common answers in advance.
Yes, if you follow these steps, you'll sound more fluent, confident, and natural.
Awesome! Now let's move on to our next trick, shadowing the best exercise to speak faster. Now, let's talk about one of the most powerful techniques for speaking English faster, the shadowing technique.
Oh, yes, shadowing is one of the best ways to improve fluency pronunciation and speaking speed at the same time.
Absolutely! But before we explain how to do it, let's first define what shadowing actually is.
Sure, shadowing is a technique where you listen to a native speaker and repeat exactly what they say as quickly as possible, almost like an echo.
That's a perfect explanation. It's called shadowing because you're following the speaker's words like a shadow.
Right? And the best part is, you don't have to worry about grammar or sentence structure. You're just focusing on speed, rhythm, and pronunciation.
Exactly. And here's how you can practice shadowing in 3 simple steps. Step 1. Choose the right audio. Find a short audio clip from a podcast, YouTube video, or even a movie. It should be clear and natural speech, not too slow and not too fast. Step 2. Listen and repeat. Immediately, play the audio and try to repeat every word immediately after hearing it. Don't pause, just keep going, even if you don't understand everything. Step 3. Keep practicing. Repeat the same clip multiple times until you can say it fluently and quickly, just like the native speaker.
That's a great method. And for beginners, it's okay if they can't keep up at first. They can start with slow and clear audio, then move on to faster speech over time.
Exactly. And another tip. Use subtitles when you start. First read along while listening, and then try without reading.
Yes! And do you know what's amazing about shadowing? It automatically trains your brain to think in English and speak without hesitation.
That's true. And the more you do it, the faster and more natural your speech will become.
So, to everyone listening, start shadowing today. Even just 5 to 10 minutes a day will make a huge difference.
Yes! And now that we've covered shadowing, let's move on to our next fast-speaking trick, practicing with a time limit. All right, Julia. Now let's talk about one of the most fun and effective ways to improve speaking speed: imitating native speakers.
Oh, yes. This trick helps learners sound more natural, improve pronunciation, and speak faster at the same time.
Exactly. When we talk about imitating native speakers, we mean copying the way they pronounce words, their tone, rhythm, and even their body language.
Right. This is different from shadowing because here, you're not just repeating words, you're also copying their expressions and speaking style.
Yes. So, let's go through how to imitate native speakers in 3 simple steps. Step 1. Pick a native speaker to imitate. Find a speaker you like, maybe from a YouTube video, podcast, movie, or TV show. Choose someone whose speaking style you admire and want to copy. Step 2. Watch and listen carefully. Watch the speaker closely. Pay attention to how they move their mouth, their tone, and their speed. Notice how they connect words and where they step. 3. Imitate everything. Try to copy their voice rhythm and even facial expressions. You can record yourself imitating them and compare it to the original.
That's a great method. And you know what? Actors use this technique to learn accents and speak naturally in different languages.
That's true. And one extra tip. Start with short clips. A 30-second dialogue is enough to practice. Repeat it until you sound as close as possible to the native speaker.
Yes. And don't just focus on words. Copy their energy too. If they sound excited, confident, or serious, try to match their tone.
That's a great point. Imitating not only improves speaking speed, but also helps you sound confident and expressive.
Exactly. So, let's recap. Choose a native speaker to imitate. Watch carefully and notice their rhythm and pronunciation. Copy their voice, tone, and even facial expressions. Repeat and practice until you sound similar.
Awesome! If you do this daily, your English will become smoother, faster, and more natural.
Yes, and now let's move to our final section, putting everything together for maximum fluency.
All right, Julia. Let's talk about something that slows down many English learners: overthinking grammar while speaking.
Yes, many learners hesitate because they're trying to make every sentence 100% grammatically correct before they say it.
Exactly. And that hesitation slows down their speaking speed. But here's the secret. You don't need perfect grammar to speak fluently.
That's so true. Even native speakers make small grammar mistakes when speaking fast. But do they stop and correct themselves every time?
Nope. They just keep talking naturally. And that's what English learners need to do too.
Right. So let's go through 3 simple strategies to speak without overthinking grammar. Strategy 1. Use simple sentence structures. You don't need complex grammar to sound fluent. Instead of saying, "If I had known earlier, I would have attended the meeting." You can say, "I didn't know before, so I didn't go to the meeting."
That's a great example. Using simple and direct sentences makes it easier to speak faster. Strategy 2. Focus on communication, not perfection. Your goal is to express your ideas clearly, not to impress people with perfect grammar. Even if you make a mistake, keep going.
Yes, listeners care more about understanding your message than about small grammar mistakes. Strategy 3. Practice speaking naturally. Instead of stopping to think about grammar rules, train your brain to respond automatically. You can do this by speaking out loud every day about simple topics.
That's a great tip. You can also try timed speaking exercises. Give yourself 30 seconds to talk about a topic without pausing to think about grammar.
Yes. And another fun way is to practice storytelling. Talk about what happened in your day without worrying about perfect grammar.
That's a great exercise. And the key takeaway is the more you speak without overthinking, the faster and more confident you'll become.
Exactly. So let's recap. Use simple sentences instead of complex grammar. Focus on expressing ideas, not on making everything perfect. Train your brain to speak automatically through daily practice.
That's right. The goal is natural communication, not textbook grammar.
Yes, and now let's move on to our final section, putting everything together for maximum fluency.
All right, Julia, we've covered some great tricks to speak English faster. But now, let's talk about something equally important. Common mistakes learners make when trying to speak fast.
Yes, many learners focus so much on speed that they end up making mistakes that hurt their communication.
Exactly. So let's go through the top 4 mistakes people should avoid when practicing fast English speaking. Some learners think that speaking fast means rushing their words. But if your words are unclear, the listener won't understand you.
Yes, it's better to speak smoothly and naturally than to rush and sound unclear. Instead of trying to speak as fast as possible, focus on rhythm and pronunciation.
Great point. A good way to fix this is to record yourself and check if your words are clear and understandable. The second big mistake is not focusing on pronunciation. Some learners try to speak fast, but they skip sounds or mispronounce words.
That's true. If your pronunciation is unclear, people will keep asking you to repeat yourself. That slows down the conversation.
Yes, the solution? Practice pronunciation slowly first. Once you master the correct sounds, then work on speed.
Exactly. Think of it like learning to run. First you learn to walk correctly, then you increase your speed.
Another mistake is overusing fillers these make you sound less confident and actually slow you down.
Yes. Instead of saying, I think, maybe we should, go to the store. You can say, I think we should go to the store.
That sounds much clearer and smoother. To reduce fillers, try pausing instead of using or. And the final mistake, not practicing in real situations. Many learners practice alone, but feel nervous when speaking with others.
Yes, speaking fast in your room is different from speaking fast in a real conversation.
That's why it's important to talk with real people. Join English groups, practice with friends, or even speak with yourself in the mirror.
Great tip. You can also practice in low-pressure situations, like ordering food or asking for directions in English.
All right, let's recap the 4 common mistakes to avoid when speaking fast. Don't prioritize speed over clarity. Speak smoothly. Focus on pronunciation before increasing speed. Avoid too many fillers like and Practice in real conversations, not just alone.
Yes, if you avoid these mistakes, you'll speak faster and sound more natural.
Exactly. And now, let's move on to our final section, putting everything together for maximum fluency. All right, Julia. We've talked about the best tricks for speaking English faster. But now, let's answer the big question. How can learners practice fast speaking every day?
Yes, learning the tricks is great, but daily practice is what makes the real difference. If you want to speak fast, you need to train your brain and tongue to respond quickly.
Exactly. So, let's go through 4 powerful daily exercises that will help learners speak faster and more fluently. The first exercise is the 1-minute speaking challenge. Choose a simple topic, like your day, your favorite food, or your weekend plans, and speak for 1 full minute without stopping.
That's a great way to practice thinking and speaking at the same time. And if you get stuck, don't stop. Just keep going with simple words.
Yes, you can even record yourself and listen later to see where you can improve. Next is shadowing. Find a video or podcast of a native speaker talking fast. Then try to repeat what they say at the same speed.
That's a fantastic exercise. It trains your mouth to move faster and improves pronunciation.
Exactly. Start with slow speed, then increase it as you get better. You can use YouTube videos, TED Talks, or even movies.
Another great practice method is speed reading aloud. Take a short article, a book, or even a dialogue and read it out loud as fast as possible while keeping it clear.
That's a great way to train your tongue and brain to work faster together.
Yes! And if you find some words difficult to say, quickly repeat them multiple times until they become easier.
The last exercise is simple. Spend at least 10 minutes a day speaking only in English.
That's a great way to train your brain to think fast in English. You can talk to a friend, record yourself, or even have a conversation with yourself in the mirror.
Yes, the more you do it, the more natural and automatic your speaking will become.
All right, let's recap the 4 daily exercises to practice fast English speaking 1-minute speaking challenge. Talk non-stop for 1 minute. Shadowing. Repeat after fast native speakers. Speed reading aloud. Train your tongue to move faster. 10 minutes of daily English speaking. Train your brain to think fast.
That's right. If you do these every day, you'll see big improvements in just a few weeks.
Yes, and now let's move to the final part, putting everything together for maximum fluency.
Wow, Julia! We've covered so many powerful tricks to help learners speak English faster.
Yes. From thinking in English to using shadowing and common phrases, these strategies will really help anyone who wants to improve their fluency.
Absolutely. But remember, learning fast speaking is not just about speed. It's about speaking smoothly, clearly, and confidently.
Exactly. And the best way to improve is through consistent daily practice. Even just 10 minutes a day can make a huge difference.
Now, we have a challenge for you. Choose one trick from today's podcast and start practicing it right away.
Yes, maybe you'll try thinking in English, or maybe you'll start shadowing native speakers. Whatever it is, take action today.
And if you found this podcast helpful, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We have more amazing English learning tips coming soon.
And don't forget to leave a comment below. Tell us, which trick will you try first? We'd love to hear from you.
All right, that's it for today. Keep practicing, keep improving, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye everyone, happy learning.